each one of us are created in the image of God.
Find your way back home again.
There's nothing less manly than showing up to a man for help.
So every emotional thing has a physical effect?
Right.
Find your way. Find your way.
All of a sudden I stop. And I'm like,
Shalom Aleichem, one of our boys side. Today we have the honor, finally, having Rabbi Yom Tov Glaser on the podcast. And funny enough, I remember you from when I was 7 years old.
7?
Maybe 6?
How old were you in 1991?
Tovshinin Aleph, probably 5.
Okay. 5.
Probably 5.
Well, you may not remember. I remember you, though.
You had long hair at some point.
Not when you met me, but right before that. Yeah.
I remember the Moshav Ora shows with Chaim Levine by the weddings.
What about the shows?
You guys were rocking. For me, this
when
was
we
the
were on
biggest show.
stage, we were always on stage
yeah.
during the meal.
Yeah.
We were always the
For me, this was the most exciting thing that I had as a kid.
Are you serious?
I never watched anything. I never knew about the outside world. Moshav Ora, Yom Tov Glaser, Chaim Levine doing their thing was the highlight. It was the best part of the whole cheder.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, they beat me up every day in cheder, so I was looking forward for these shows.
Wow.
Yeah, for me, these weddings and this thing, it was like a peace breaker. It was like or a miklat for me.
Wow.
So, Rabbi Yom Tov, can you tell me a little bit of, you want to introduce yourself for a minute for some Hasidim that don't know you yet? There is some Mondro people here that haven't, I know, they don't see statuses. In a word.
Introduce myself?
Yeah.
I'm a nice Jewish boy.
Right. Lives in Yerushalayim.
Yeah, I live in Yerushalayim. I'm in a community called Bate Broide, which is Chatzer in Yerushalayim.
It looks like Maya Shodem.
It looks like Me'asharim.
Feels like Maya Shodem. Sounds like Maya Shodem, but it's like next to the Shuk.
Next to the Shuk, yeah.
Yeah.
And I spend my time mostly traveling and running programs, the Possible You specifically.
So we'll go soon in what is the Possible You.
So I do that. And what else you want me to say?
That was good for starters. But Be'etzem, you're Pinskerlin Chusid, but you're Bal Tshiva.
Also, I wasn't raised from,
Okay, so when was the turning point for you as a Californian kid discovering Judaism? How does that work?
So I was 23 years old, and I got a free trip to Israel on one of those, come and learn scholarship programs.
Taglit?
Like that. It was before Taglit.
Okay.
And it was to Esha Torah.
So Esha Torah ran the program?
Yeah.
What was it called? Discovery?
Nope. It was called Jerusalem Fellowships.
Okay.
What happened was my brother was in Esha Torah 7 years before that.
Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sam found out that there's a God, and he found out that Torah is true.
Okay.
When he came back to L.A. after a couple months in Aish, he never mentioned it to us. But he kept it as a break glass in case of emergency.
Really?
And what was the emergency? The emergency was he saw that his brother Yom Tov was not going to wind up being, a real contribution to Klal Yisrael.
Really?
And so he decided, I was about to graduate university. I had been surfing around the world. I don't know if people know what surfing is, but maybe...
Surfing is the people that go on the ocean
I have
on the
clips.
waves.
You can show them a clip.
Yeah.
I'd just been with the previous year with the professional tour of surfing in France, Spain, and Portugal. So I was going to do France, Spain, Portugal again, and then Morocco.
Wow.
And South Africa.
Wow.
And then I was going to move to the U.S. Did I say the U.S.? I was going to move to Australia.
Okay.
And renounce my citizenship to the U.S. out of protest of the Gulf War in 1991.
Really?
Yeah.
What indicated
I was
Sam?
a progressive liberal.
Okay.
Protesting the Gulf War.
When did Sam say, okay, I got to stop Yom Tov?
That was when.
What is so bad about it? Like in Sam's eyes?
Because Sam discovered that the Torah is actually true.
But he didn't do anything about it.
Everyone's got their cheshbon, some people. By the way, I asked him later, I said, why why didn't you tell me before? He says, or someone asked him, why didn't you say it before? He says, because I knew if Yom Tov discovered this, he would never come back. Some people find out the Torah is true, and they're just like, okay, I'll add that to my list of things that are important.
He knew you were going to take it much more serious than him. How did he have that cycle? Like, how does he know that?
We're best friends.
Wow. So he's 7 years older.
Yeah, I've been out of school since I'm 11. So because I grew up on the streets, when you grow up on the streets, when you learn something, it's you. You know, it becomes you. You don't know how to see. People are in classrooms in the world of theory. Everything's theoretical. You don't integrate the knowledge with who you are. But if you grow up on the streets, everything you learn is part of you. It's becoming you instantly, like you're an instant integrator.
Because you taught yourself.
Yeah, that's why the Possible You is the greatest seminar in the world. You know why? Because every time I finish a seminar, if someone walks up to me and says, you know, you could have done this a little differently, it would have been more effective. And if they come back the next seminar, they'll see I already put it in. They're like,
wow.
You put it in? I said, well, you're right.
I can tell you big differences that I've seen. I've done the seminar 3 times, so I can tell you, but we're not up to that yet. I'm still trying to figure out. 11 years old, you dropped out of school. Your father and mother are okay with this? You roaming the streets all day? Like, what's the daily plan? You get up, you do what?
Surfing.
Really?
Yeah, I was riding waves most of
Until
the time.
23?
I surfed 6 to 8 hours a day, every day for 12 years straight.
That's a life.
I mean, when the sun goes down, I did some other things. You know.
And then Sam says, after 12 years of surfing, now is the time. I'm going to tell him about.
Yeah, because at that point I was like, because I was graduating university.
So that
believe it or not, I
leaving.
didn't go to school all the years, except I wound up in university.
When? What age?
From I don't know, 18 to 23.
What made you decide to go do that?
It was like my father's from the old country. My father's a Marmash Vishnitz family.
Marmarosh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Vishnitz. And he was born in the Bronx. And
Okay.
Wound up in California, wound up not Frum and everything. But those people who came here to the U.S., they didn't go to college. They went and made money.
Right.
And they're gonna make sure their kids go to college. So he couldn't live with himself. He says,
So he
my
pounded you?
children will go to university, will go to college.
It didn't matter school to him, but college mattered.
Yeah, he didn't mind paying for my exams to be taken by smarter kids, you know.
Wow.
Not that they were smarter kids, but they were at least studying.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was, he just wanted that my sons will have a degree. He didn't care how we got it. He was like Trump, you know.
Right,
It's
right.
exactly Trump. It was like
Yeah.
post-war, businessman, capitalist, you know, like.
And you got the degree?
Yeah, eventually. Well, I got caught on the 5th year.
Oh,
I
you
got
get
caught.
fouled.
Yeah, you know what they caught
They
me
used
with?
to caught people back in the day?
I didn't tell you what I did.
No. What did you do? Tell it to me.
So what happened was, by the way, how do you go to college if you never went to high school?
How Taka?
My father
paper?
was friends with the mayor of Los Angeles.
Okay.
My father was big macher.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I never saw him that way. He's like his nice little chubby man.
he's not chubby. He's 6'2".
What?
He's a
I'm probably
6'2".
mixing it up with someone.
Yeah, this guy is.
Oh, maybe
like,
your Schwer
He's
is
walking
nice
around
little
with like
chubby.
cocktails with an olive in it. You know.
Is
like-
your Schwer nice little chubby?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm mixing them up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
You kidding? I could put my Schwer on my shoulders.
Oh, yeah. So
So-
that's why I mixed them up.
So
So your father was a big macher. He was good with the L.A.
mayor, yeah.
Mayor.
yeah.
So he got
He
you
used to
in.
come for Shabbos, the mayor.
Really? But not real Shabbos.
Not real Shabbos.
Yeah,
We didn't know
right.
the word malacha, but you better be sitting in your seat on Shabbos. Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
So Shabbos
that
table was Shabbos table.
Choik v'lo yavar is to be at my father's Shabbos. I'll never forget him yelling at us to sing Shalom Aleichem. You know.
Really?
Oh, you had to sing, and they
A lot of Hasidim do that today.
yell at their kids to sing.
Yeah, 100%. I just had a crazy story.
I
down the
personally
block.
have a fond memory of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? He was yelling at you.
Because I mean, I'm a little older now, and you know what? Even the scrap that we go through, without the S, even
Really?
the stuff we go through with our parents. When you get a little older, you start to realize that was their way of showing love.
Wow.
That was how they were loving you. And in the end, you can somehow de-scramble the way they gave the delivery of the message and just take the message as I love
Really?
you. Yeah, I went,
That's part of the possible you work.
oh yeah. Unscrambling the
memories.
The medium is how it came
Right.
versus the message, which was I love you.
Wow.
Like, for example, every tati is chepping his son for Sofzman, whatever.
Right. Sofzman
He's-
tefillah.
Sofzman this, Sofzman.
Yeah. It's always Sofzman.
Sofzman weekdays.
Yes.
Like Shabbos.
Yeah.
Whenever they're chepping their kid. So you notice they're not chepping the neighbor's kid.
Right.
They don't seem to care if the neighbor kid, the
Right,
neighbor's
because
kid
they
say
care
Krishna.
about you. Wow.
Yeah, it's you.
You're probably all the people watching now is like pop, pop, pop. All of them. Like everybody in different ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you get a little older and, you
realize
start
it
to
was all love.
realizing that all the stuff that was trauma growing up, in the end, was their way of showing love.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're by the Shabbos table. How many brothers or sisters? How many?
We're
siblings?
just 4 boys.
4 boys.
No
That's
girls,
it.
No girls.
Sam, Yom Tov,
No, Sam, Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah, everyone became from, by the way.
Wow.
Almost everyone.
And your father?
My parents became from.
Really?
Yeah, when I went to Eshet Torah, they came to get me out.
They came to save you.
They did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 1 second. So Sam introduced to you Eshet Torah. How? Yeah.
They thought I joined a cult. They looked it
Right.
up and they thought Eshet Torah was a cult. I said, yeah, it's the cult of your grandparents.
Wow. And they knew.
They were like, oh my gosh. My mother was just happy that I cut my hair, though.
Oh, she was
I
upset
came
about
in
the hair.
yeshiva,
all
I
the
cut
time.
my hair
Yeah,
pretty soon.
yeah.
And
So how does Sam get you hooked up to Eshet Torah?
he called them. He didn't even tell me. I was graduating university in a week,
Okay.
and he's trying to figure out how to save me because I'm about to
Right.
go surfing all over
And
the
live in
world
Australia.
and move to Australia.
Yeah.
I thought marrying a Jew was racist. I
Wow.
thought having kids was environmentally irresponsible.
Really? You're a liberal.
I'm liberal by nature. You're pretty
Right.
liberal by nature too.
Yeah. We're,
But politically, I'm conservative.
wow.
Yeah.
So you were a liberal.
Then I was
and,
liberal
and so
politically.
how does Sam come in? He calls Eshet Torah saying, I have this brother, you got to come pick him up.
Oh, yeah. So he called Eshet Torah and
Like
he said,
Yad Lachem, they
he
come
said
pick
like,
you
do you
up?
remember me? And they're like, kind of. And he says, listen, I have a brother who would make a big difference for Klal Yisrael. That's what he said.
Wow.
He'd make a big difference for Klal Yisrael, but right now, he's not going to make a difference to anyone.
Yeah.
So
how did
how
they get
about
you?
you get us a free scholarship? Do you have a program going on? And they said, yeah, we have the Jerusalem Fellowships. And I think they had a cancellation.
Okay.
And it was 15 boys, 15 girls from these universities. But these were like high-end
Okay.
people,
But why would you consider? You have all these plans.
because it was free. It was a free ticket.
Wow. That's why the free Gemara program of Rebelli talks to a lot of people. Wow. So, Sam, I hope you're watching this at some point. Kudos to you, bro. You got a lot of light to Klal Yisrael.
Right?
So he had the vision, or I'm sure not to this level, but he had a.
You want to know something? He was the one who dropped me off at LAX. And when I was going up the escalator, I turned around and waved goodbye. And you know what he does at the bottom of the escalator? He says, you're going to bring me back.
Wow.
And I was like, to what? I didn't know where he was going.
Wow.
He never told us what was going on over there.
And you actually did?
I said, to what? And he said, you'll see.
Wow.
He once I became from, and my parents came to get me out, and they wound up staying. And
But
so
they
then
became from them?
Sam just jumped right on the. He was already like friends with some from people, and
He was waiting. He was waiting for
He was waiting, but he was also growing the whole time.
Wow.
And then eventually he just finally jumped in with both feet.
That is beautiful.
My brother Aaron was a real estate guy, like flipping properties and stuff.
In California.
In California, we're talking like tight Armani suits,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
convertible
Yeah, I can see him with
muscle
the big
car,
one,
like a real American.
yeah.
And he fought me the whole time,
Right.
very against what I was doing.
That's
very.
how far in? Like a year in? You're
3
trying to call
years
him?
in.
3 years.
He comes to my wedding, and he had money, so he.
I remember your wedding. I remember the chuppah in Park Yerushalayim.
Yeah,
You were like in a tall...
we're in the forest.
Yeah, with the Staliners dancing away.
Pinskis.
Pinskes.
No offense to Stoleners.
Right. Pinskes. Yeah, I can't differentiate.
Pinsker
Kalim.
Rebbe, yeah.
Yeah, and then we with the mitzvah dance. I remember like 11 a.m. the mitzvah dance, not 11 a.m. 3 p.m. Yeah.
It was we had to do it by day because
Why?
Rav Noach Weinberg, the Rosh Hashiva, was
Yeah.
marrying off that night in Bnei Brak. He's got to be at the wedding.
I couldn't figure out to this day why you did it in the morning. I thought you're like hippies. You said, okay, we're gonna do a morning event. The whole thing wasn't through the day.
It ended at night. It was like a 9-hour wedding.
Wow.
But we had to do it, start at in the
I
daytime
didn't- I
to get the Rosh Hashiva there.
I remember it was like in a hall in Ezor Tasiyah.
Yeah.
I remember it.
What's that place called?
Something in Yerushalayim.
Anyway,
So
you
Aaron.
want to hear something interesting?
Yeah.
Is my wife wanted to get married on Eretz Yisrael. The two of us are like crazy, like what I call Chazal Tziyanim. You know what
Yeah.
Chazal Tziyanim? Because we know nothing about the Medina. Like Bali Jew have no idea
Right.
what the Medina is or any of that. All we know is that when we're learning Shas, you see like Rebbe Zera fasta, 100 fasts just to forget the Torah he learned in Chutz La'aretz, so it shouldn't mess up the Torah he learns when he gets to Eretz Yisrael.
Wow.
And I'm mowing through Shas for years and years and years, and like learning more and more and more about the love of Eretz Yisrael. My wife and I were talking this morning on how every dira we ever had before we finally got our own houses, we always loved it so much and tried to buy it. In fact, the Pinsker Liner Rebbe walked into one of these diras because we wanted his advice, so he came over to check it. The Pinsker Zatzal, the father of the current Pinsker Liner.
He used to come down to your house?
We were very close with him.
Wow.
And anyway, so he would walk out shaking his head. And I'm
Saying
like,
no?
yeah, I'm like, what about this dira, Rebbe?
Why, it's
we
too
were renting.
small?
No, it was like a churva. And we're trying to figure out why do we always think wherever we are is the place?
Because there's
Because it's Eretz Yisrael.
Wow.
Eretz
Yeah,
Yisrael.
you live in Butay Broide, so for sure.
Yeah. Right now,
division.
our guest bathroom and children's bathroom is gutted right now. My wife was just showing me pictures. There's nothing in there.
What are we
Completely
fixing up?
gutted. We're redoing it. So, but the reason why we never redid it is because I've never seen it.
Why did you see
It's a
it now?
35-year-old bathroom that was never nice to begin with, and 35 years later, you can imagine.
You never went there?
I go to the bathroom in there, but I've never seen it because I don't care.
Wow.
It's not about that. When you live in Eretz Yisrael, it doesn't
Just being
matter.
in the place. Wow. The Pashtus.
It doesn't matter what it looks like.
We can
whatever.
talk about Pashtus.
By the way, my wife, it did bother my
Women are designed to be bothered by it
wife. So we're finally taking care of
after 35 years. Congratulations on that. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, so back to us. So you
it.
decided to
Notice
bring
I'm here while it's getting done.
Yeah,
Like she's
yeah.
smart.
That's what you said. The big wars are going on. You stay here.
Every time there's a war in Israel, somehow I'm here.
Gewalt. So this Aaron, you got Aaron after 3 years. He came to your wedding.
He comes to our wedding, and he's he's trying to be nice, but he's angry that I'm from, and so, but he had a lot of money at the time, so he took a hotel room in Tel Aviv for a month.
Oh,
Month.
why?
Well, it was like
I'm already here.
It was 3 weeks, a week of Sheva Brachas, and then 3 weeks in Tel Aviv. He likes to dance, and he was dancing all night.
Perfect city for that.
Yeah, he would wake up at noon and come to Yerushalayim to see the two of us.
Yeah.
He comes in every day for lunch. Took his rental car, drove up there. So my wife, who's, we're Kiruv experts, she's smacking him over the head with her spatula
That he has to
about
be fluent.
Yiddishkeit.
Wow.
So check this out. At the end, he goes back to LA. I get a call 2 weeks later from my parents. They're like, "Where's your brother?" I said, "What do you mean, where's my brother?"
He went back
He
to
said,
LA.
"Yeah, he's not home." And they're like, "We have not seen him. He's always at our house for everything. He's at every game. He's at sports, everything. Where is he?" And I said, "I dropped him at the airport. I don't know." I said, "Have you been to his house?" They said, "Yes." He doesn't answer his phone, nothing. I said, "Go over there at 2 a.m. He's clearly hiding."
Okay.
So they knock on his door at 2 a.m. and he comes to the door. He opens the door, and my parents are like,
What happened?
he had a couple.
Wow.
Never looked back. He became an incredible Kiruv rabbi in Manhattan, and just
Really? He didn't
incredible.
come back to
You know how many
Aish.
people became from through him? He learned in Aish for 4 years.
So he came back. After the couple in LA, he came back to Aish.
Yeah, he dropped everything. And
Wow.
yeah. I remember actually. You want to hear something interesting? Is he got, he got in some legal stuff.
Okay.
And and it was federal. It was heavy, and he had to deal with that. And you know what he did? He made a deal.
With Hashem?
Yeah, came from that's where he really made a deal.
He told Hashem, I'm becoming from
I'm
you
going
take
to
care of the case.
yeshiva.
I'm going to yeshiva.
I'm gone. I'm taking it on. I'm going
and it
in.
worked.
Not only it worked for him, ever since I saw it work for him, I've told several people to try it when they were in some trouble. Every person I've seen try it it's worked.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone who was fry and made those deals to become from, and Hashem should just take this all off of them from the whatever government.
You're giving me massive ideas now.
So,
Okay.
So listen to this. Oh, no, that was the story. But what I want to tell you about the wedding is that I spend a lot of my time mountain biking in the forest.
Right.
I'm always in the forest.
To this day.
I spend a lot of hours in the wilderness.
Is it like the same of surfing? It feels
It's
like
wilderness.
surfing?
Well, it's wilderness. There's no one around. You're alone.
You're not scared in those mountains? There's Arabs in Israel. Where do you go? Ramot? Where do you go? No, seriously. I see you mountain bike. I'm always scared.
I ride all over the country, everywhere.
What about mountain lions or whatever? No, nothing?
Listen, I don't like seeing hyenas and
You've seen?
Yeah, I don't like seeing them.
What do? You race away?
I last summer I ran almost head into a giant snake.
And?
It they don't want to mess with it. The hyenas I saw ran for their lives. The animals aren't interested in eating people.
Not
There's
interested.
very few animals. I think there's 3 animals that eat people.
You go by yourself on this?
Polar bears eat people.
Polar bears? Which one? The white ones?
Polar bears eat people. There's a certain wild cat that eats people.
Hippopotamus?
Maybe a hippo. I don't know.
I think they
They
kill
look like
the
they got
most
a
people.
strong bite.
No, they kill the most people in the Africa in the safari.
Really?
Yeah, it's not lions, it's hippos.
Hippos.
Yeah, I think so.
Got to be careful when
Or the ones with
you're taking a mikveh in Africa.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
So anyway, my wife wanted to be. That's why I was talking about the tzionis,
Yeah.
Shas, the Chazal tzionis.
Yeah.
So she's like, I want to get married on Eretz Yisrael. I don't care if the dancing's in a hall, but
That's
the chuppah
why
should
you
be,
went to the
our feet should be on the
forest.
soil. Should be on the soil. And so she said, go out and ride your bike, find a spot where the Pinsker Rebbe is very old, that he could get there. How are you going to get him?
Park Yerushalayim. Yar
There
Yerushalayim.
was that spot right outside Harnof where it was.
Yeah.
But 5 hours I rode my bike to find a spot. I couldn't find a spot.
Really?
The last point, I just wound up right there, and I see the spot. And my wife's in New York. My Kala's in New York.
Right.
I call her up. She says, describe the spot. I describe the spot. She says, you know what? That's the spot. When you were feeling down, we weren't engaged or anything. I just heard you were feeling down. I was doing my davening in the forest.
But you guys already were dating.
No.
So how did she hear you feeling down?
What in the Baal Tshuva community? Everyone knows that.
Okay.
She had heard that I had been feeling down. And so I was on her list of people. And she says, that is the exact spot I daven for you.
No way.
We got married at the spot my wife was davening for me.
Only Hashem can go.
She wasn't davening to marry me. On our wedding day, we were davening stark, before the chuppah. You know what we were davening? Both of us.
No.
We were davening that we should marry a true zivug.
By the chuppah.
Yeah, Hashem, you got 10 minutes left. You got 10 minutes left to do something here.
You guys are crazy.
We're crazy.
You guys are crazy. I want to know about the moment you realize that there is a Shem. Sam sends you. You don't know where you're going. When was the aha moment? You come to Aish. You see a bunch of people.
There was a couple ones, but there was one big one. The couple ones was I started noticing I'm losing all the arguments. I'm not.
Give me
I'm
an
not
example
short
for an
on
argument
IQ.
because today all the FFBs have those arguments.
Sure.
Give me an
Well, I'll tell you the one that was the biggest aha.
Okay.
Anyway, I was losing arguments with the students. The rabbis I was definitely losing against the rabbis, but I was losing against the students. Remember Shalom Demba?
I do.
They gave me him as my chavrusa.
Wow.
We watched the sunrise every night. He would stay up all night with me just to argue.
Wow.
Arguing. But the thing is, when I'd finally go to bed, I would go to bed thinking, I lost again. Meaning, I'm not winning these arguments. And I'd been doing a lot of thinking for a lot of years. You know,
You thought you
I'm
had
a
it figured
thinker.
out.
Like, how do I do what I do? You know, I got 700 hours of YouTube classes of Torah and Torah time, and like I think about things
Yeah.
a lot, and I kept losing.
Wow.
And then the seventh day, first Shabbos, I kept by accident because they taped the lights, and I don't smoke. And
So you didn't have an
there was no such thing
opportunity.
as cell phones. I didn't know about Malachim, but I kept. it
Was
by
my
accident.
father doing that in Shabbos?
No. This is before your father was so engaged with
okay.
Ish. So then so seventh day I was there. I was in the Discovery Seminar, and it was on the third final day of the seminar. And there the last class is about the 10 sons of Haman.
Okay.
You know, meaning the last class is about how, you know, you're reading the Megillah, and all of a sudden you get to this like Excel sheet.
Yes.
You know, Parshan Dosa, Veis Dalfan, Veis Psmasa.
Vaezusa.
It's like a whole list of
Names.
but it's weird, like, and they're not in the story before, they're not in the story later.
Right.
Why do they get this special page?
Okay.
But it's a very special page. But in that page, it has the Parshan Dosa has a small tuf, and Parmashta has a small shin, and Vaizosa has a small zayin, taf shin zayin, 707. And then there's a big vav, which is perhaps representing the millennia. So 707, 1707, 2707, 37, 47, 5707. So somehow 5707's on that page. And it says right after the list of the sons, it says that, they were killed. That's what I was listing. These are the sons that were killed. They were killed by the sword. And then the king, which is the king, doesn't say Achashverosh, the king, says to Esther, what do you want now? Veseyas, whatever you want, and it will be done. And she's, instead of her asking to bring back her people back to Yerushalayim, she already said she's a Jew, part of this whole exile for 70 years.
Right.
Send us home already and pay for a base of Mikdash. Instead of all that, she says, may it be done tomorrow what was done today, and may Haman's 10 sons be hung on the gallows.
Wow.
Which is like, Esther, that's what you want? You want the 10 sons should be hung? That's your only request?
Really now?
Yeah. So, but when a prophetess says, may it be done tomorrow, maybe she's talking about the future. Turns out, 2,500 years later, on the year Taf Shin Zayin, and your Taf Shin Zayin is the Nuremberg trials where 10 Nazis are hung.
Wow.
It's in the Megillah. It's in the Megillah. The last Nazi, Julius Streicher. I'm going to quote Newsweek article of 1946. You ready for a direct quote? Only Julius Streicher went without dignity. Meaning the other ones just were hung, but he went crazy. He freaked out. So only Julius Streicher went without dignity. He had to be pushed across the courthouse floor, wild-eyed and screaming Heil Hitler. As he mounted the gallows, he turned to the witnesses and said, and now I go to God. Purim Fest, 1946. Wow. On what day? It was Hoshana Rabbah, October 17th, 1946, which is the judgment day of the nations, says the Zohar. And so it's like, when what Esther was saying was more important than Beis Hamikdash, which she's a prophetess. She knows Beis Hamikdash is not going to go anywhere by a Shani. Anyway,
1 second. So this.
she said
shook
more
your-
important is that after the Holocaust, when the Jews are in the dumps, when the Jews have lost all hope, I want a simon to be there. I want there to be a simon that Torah, meaning prophecy, all the way to Megillah. Megillah is way later than
Is eternal.
Chumash. Not eternal. For sure it's eternal. And it's not man written, because a human being could never have put Taf Shin Zayin. Every sofer for 2,500 years has to make a small Taf.
And they didn't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. It should be a simon at the end of days that this is real. Is real. That this is real.
Israel.
That this is real. And so I walk out, and that was my aha. So the whole week was my aha. It's the 9th day I was there. And it was a big aha. I walk out of there, and I'm just like, wow. and I realize I'm being followed. You know, you can feel if someone's following. I turn
Yeah.
around, and I'm in the old city.
Yeah.
Altstadt, as you guys call it.
Yeah.
I turn back, and there's a dog following me.
A dog.
Yeah, and the old city doesn't do dogs; they do cats.
Right.
So the dog's following me. Where am I going? I'm on my way to the phones to tell my parents not to send my surfboards to France.
Because
I was
I'm
about
not
to lose
going.
my boards. That was the day they were going to send the boards.
Oh.
That's how I know it was the 9th day, because I did the math. Because my ticket was booked back through France to...
They thought you're still going with the plan.
Of course.
You just made a detour for a few days.
Yeah, it was a free ticket. I took the ticket.
But Tavshin Zayin got you, and I'm staying.
Yeah, this is real.
This is real.
And so, anyway, I'm on my way to the payphones. The dog follows me all the way to the phones. Remember payphones?
Yeah, with the telecard or
It was
the
that card.
Yeah, the card.
So I called my parents. I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm staying. I'm home. Don't send my boards.
They thought you went crazy.
Finished that call. I went to... That's when I called my brother. I asked him, why didn't you tell me earlier?
Sam.
He says, I knew when you'd find this out, you'd never come back. Yeah. And then I wound up I went to the dinner. You know, they had dinner there at Aish. So
Yeah.
I'm in there 45 minutes. I come out, the dog's waiting for me.
No way.
It's the weirdest thing.
Dafka for you.
Yeah. And
He's
then
not following anyone else.
just me. Now he's following me around. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm trying to lose him. I finally wind up on Rehov Chayolim. And I'm on Rehov Chayolim. It's a long street in the old city. And I finally decide, you know what? I'm just going to sit on these stairs. Like, you know, there's one of these stairs. I'll just sit on the stairs. I'm going to stare at this dog. We're going to have it out.
Okay.
And the dog sat on Chayolim staring at me. We're both staring at each other. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I find out there's a God, and now I'm dealing with the dog.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, one of the girls from our trip, who's been in the, you know, the Tafshin Zayin Purim Fest class,
Yes.
she's walking down that street, but really slow, and she's crying.
Okay.
She
Why?
she gets to me. I look up, and I said, are you okay? And she says, it's true, isn't it? Meaning Torah.
Yeah.
Like, it's true, isn't it? And I was like, it's true. And then she starts screaming. Like, her hair stands up. She's like, ah! Looking at the dog. I look down at the dog. The dog is sticking its neck out, is shaking his whole body, and like drilling into my eyes. And I was like, ah! We're both screaming, ah! I'm like, whoa! And in that moment, I realized that dog, this girl, these walls, these stairs, this sky is all part of the living God, like Elokus Mamish. This is all part of Hashem. And then I realized what dog is spelled backwards. And then the dog just runs away. And that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. This
That-
was a very hard awakening.
But that was powerful enough to stick with you for life. And that was what Hashem did with the Makos and Mitzrayim for the Yidden, this Parsha, Bo, Shalach.
Yeah.
He made something so a strong impression that should stay with them for the rest of.
Yeah,
History.
Sure.
So you feel it to this day. You're telling me the story, you're like, you remember it vividly.
The whole experience was...
Was there times that you were missing that clarity? You said, I can use another one, a boost?
Yeah.
Were you looking for the dog again?
No, the dog was just for fun. I mean, that was just a crazy thing.
But that
So the
awakening.
emes of Torah
yeah.
was the big thing.
So it's only
Yeah.
once that Hashem gives it to a Baal Tshuva or to someone who seeks him? Like one tkufa, one few weeks?
I don't know if there's a klal about that, really.
But you know, Baal Tshuva have this enlightenment time that they run around telling everyone about it.
Yeah.
And then they die down and they could become a FFB and they...
Yeah, most Bali Tshuva have this one moment, and you know, this moment of clarity, and then,
it's a gift. It's a gift from Hashem to bring them in. So now you felt home. Now you stay there for how many years? 3 years?
no, I never left.
You never left.
Never left.
You didn't even go back visiting home?
No, I visit all the time, but meaning that was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was a decision made.
Cut the cord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ever been back to California for a while or never?
There was a point where I took a position as a campus rabbi at UCLA.
Okay. Before marriage or after marriage?
After.
After marriage, and your wife agreed to this? I'm so sorry.
Not really.
I'm so sorry for mentioning it.
Not really, but it was not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
No.
I remember you.
I'm a teacher. I'm not a organizer, administrator. Like I can't build a campus branch. You know, this is
Right.
not a good use of my koiches.
So you stayed in Yerushalayim.
Rav Noach Weinberg pulled me back to Yerushalayim. Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still remember Rab Noach. I remember his handshake, firm, big handshake.
You got to shake his hand.
Yeah, Shavuos night. My father took me all the way to Aish.
Wow.
I was a kid.
Thank
And he introduced me, and I got this. I think it was still in the old base medrash.
Probably.
I think it was still in the old base medrash. Okay. The next thing that I'm really curious about, unless you want to mention something else, is how the possible you came along. How did it develop? How did you come to it?
So, you know, since I can even segue it from the story we're in. So when I decided, wow, I'm going to become frum now, or I am frum now, it was like instantly frum. I kept that next Shabbos totally, like I was frum immediately.
The beard started coming out already, or it took a little time?
Immediately.
Wow. Pinskarlin, when was that?
That was later. Not much later, just a little later. It was Sukkot.
How?
I was dancing with all the other people in Tolasan, and someone said, a friend of mine said, I want you to meet me in Carlin. So I said, where's Carlin? He said, just meet me in 15 minutes there. Just you go down Meir Sharm, turn right.
Okay.
So I went down Meir Sharm, turn right. But if you turn right, you get to Zonenfeld, you know, by Nechama Bakery, by the
Yeah. Nechama Bakery.
He meant Yoel, which is the next right.
Oh, that's stolen.
Yeah, he was going to Stolen.
And you went to Nechama Bakery. What
I was
did you
there.
find?
I was lost. I'm like, someone tell me where Carlin is. They said up the stairs.
So you got to Pinsk.
I walk in there. Everyone's dancing, going crazy. You know, the band is on. This is before keyboards.
Yeah.
This
they're
is
still
full band. You know,
hocking.
drums, bass.
Yeah.
Russians on horns. You know,
Wow.
reading the music, and it's zip tied tables like 10 feet high with a huge stage. And the Chassidim are doing amazing dancing, not like every other place. I mean, they're doing real.
You loved it. Is this the first time you see like a full-on festival?
Yeah, this was.
You loved it.
And they grabbed me and put me right in the middle because it's.
Wow.
Because I dance, you know. They were just teaching me to dance. I'll learn to dance like that.
It's all Hashem.
So I was dancing with them till 2:30 in the morning, and one guy spoke enough English and had enough courage. He was a boy in Shana Rishona. His father was a Rosh Kola once in L.A. for like 2 years. So he learned enough English to say, he was dancing next to me. He said, you coming back here Friday night, Shabbos night, it's to my father.
Wow. What's his name?
Fishy Hennig.
You still buddies with him?
So I came Friday night. I joined the Hennig family permanently.
Wow.
The Hennigs, you know, every Hennig boy, of all the boys who became my brothers, and their kids say, their kids when their kids are around 7 or 8, they'll say, "How come Uncle Yom Tov doesn't speak Yiddish?"
Wow.
Because they think I'm their uncle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
I never left. I slept there that night, meaning they made my shidduch with my wife.
That's mamash hashgacha pratis.
You want to hear a great story?
No.
The Rabbi Hennig says to me one day when my parents are learning there in yeshiva. My mom's in Sem, my father's in yeshiva.
Really?
They're overlooking the koisel.
For how long did they do that?
6 months. So the Rav says that he wants to come with the Rebbitzin to meet my parents. You know, like Motzi Shabbos. So I go to my father and I say, listen, get your checkbook ready.
You thought they're coming
You're
for money?
Shamis, you know.
Right.
Like they're coming for money. So I said, get your checkbook ready, you know, give a nice gift to
Hennig.
Rabbi Hennig. And so my dad's ready, and the couple comes, and they asked me to bring just find a girl to translate. So for the Rebbitzin and my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought a bunch of Aish guys to the balcony overlooking the Kaisel, and they come in, and the Rav sits with us, and I'm waiting for him to ask my father for something, you know. No, after a while, the Rav says, okay, I'm going to the Kaisel to say to him.
Wow.
Disappears. And I walk him down the Kaisel. When I get him down the Kaisel, he says, by the way, you should know that Bachara is your zivug.
That who has
The
his-
Bachara, the girl
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
translating
yeah.
for your mother, that's your zivug.
No way.
So I go back. You know why they came? They did the math on the age of my parents. They did the math on the age of my parents, and they made a cheshbon. They said she's probably only needs one mikveh, and she's done. And the woman's a balanit. She's a mikveh lady.
Wow.
Rebbetzin Hennig's a mikveh lady. She doesn't think in terms of anything than taharas mishpacha.
Wow.
So she's like, how could it be? Yom Tov's mama hasn't been on
So
mikveh.
she came to talk to her.
All they wanted was my
And
mother's...
Rav Hennig was just like a cover-up.
No, he walked her there.
Wow.
He brought her. He was on his way to the Glaser.
Wow.
The whole thing was just to get my mother in the mikveh.
And they succeeded.
Sure, she was like, of course. Of course, I had no idea.
What a
She didn't know anything.
What a
And
schus.
and when the bachura, the girl, walked her down to the bus, the Rebbetzin said, "You should know that Yom Tov's your zivug."
Really? They didn't talk to each other?
No way.
They're
They
shadchanim
were in
for a
two different
living?
rooms. No, they don't make shadchan.
They just said it.
Yeah.
They made and wow. There's a lot of Ashgacha Pratis in your life.
And we married each other, and you know, our kids were born into their house. Like that's where my wife rested after births and stuff.
The Schwiger.
Yeah,
Wow. What is it? 30 years?
31.
31 years. Wow. Beautiful. Yeah. So now you told us how you got to Pinskalin. That was fascinating.
Oh, so what I was saying is when I became observant was I had a real crisis. What was my crisis? When I was 10 years old, I was terribly embarrassed at my brother's bar mitzvah. Like terribly embarrassed. Whatever, I got embarrassed by one of the kids there. And I ran to the bathroom and I stayed in the bathroom the whole bar mitzvah. I'm not in I cried in the bathroom, 10 years old.
Your brother's bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I wanted to be accepted by his class. You know, when you're a 10-year-old kid,
Yeah,
brother,
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
be like, you want them to think you're cute and you're part of
Right.
the group. And I was trying to be part of them.
And they're like dismissing you.
And I was so humiliated. I just ran to the bathroom and cried for 2.5 hours. I'm not in my brother's bar mitzvah pictures. I didn't get to dance with them. I'd been waiting all year for this.
Wow.
Crying in the bathroom, listening to the music through the walls. And what happened, I only know this from years later when I almost had to have surgery on my colon. Because you know that tight feeling when you have to show up to a social event, a kiddish, a wedding, or anything, your stomach gets a little tight? So that can get worse and worse and worse for some people.
So some people can have
Well,
like
for
real.
me, I had a trauma that day, and that got worse and worse and worse in my stomach.
So every emotional thing has a physical effect.
Right. Well, the physical pain we have is protecting us from the more painful emotion. So
Every physical
Yeah,
pain.
you can actually ride a physical pain, a neck pain, a back pain, a stomach pain, a headache. You can ride that pain all the way to the words of what you're really feeling, and then cry out the feeling, and the pain goes away.
Really?
Yeah.
No surgery needed. No hospital needed. No.
No, some things need surgeries, but that's not, no Tylenol needed.
But it starts
Just
from
cry
emotions.
out the pain, the physical pain, instead of covering it up with more medication.
What about for someone who's so numb he can't cry?
Get someone to get you to cry. So
Or join the puzzle with you.
yeah, we get everyone crying.
Yeah.
So what I want to say is that that's called somatic healing, by the way. The term for that is somatic healing. Soma is the body.
Okay.
And somatic healing is by using the body to get to the emotion, to release the body's physical ailment.
Somatic.
So here's the thing: that was when I was 10. By 11, I was playing this whole cool thing: surfer, guitar player, skateboarder. You know, like you
As a
name
fight
it.
to cover up.
By 12, I was already like, my mother would go to sleep. 2 hours later, I was in her sports car driving around LA at 12 years old. Wow. By 14, I was racing. Everything I was doing was to be cool. Cool. Because as long as I'm cool, if I'm the cool guy, I'm in charge of who's accepted and not. So in other words, when that happened to me, I felt so unacceptable
Right.
that I believed I was unacceptable.
So you have to fight to be accepted.
Unacceptable as a human being. Just unacceptable, which is a tough one. To be unacceptable, that means everywhere you go, you're not accepted.
Right.
So what did I do? I covered that up with cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'll be in charge of who's accepted or not. Except, guess what? In 1991, in a Litvish yeshiva in Yerushalayim, cool has no currency. You know, it's like trying to buy a Starbucks coffee with 20 shekels.
So you lost.
It doesn't mean anything. They won't take it. They want dollars.
So you were lost.
I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I had been using this cover-up for 12 years.
And now who are you?
all of a sudden my survival strategy was no longer was worth nothing.
Valuable. Wow.
No one needs cool. No one cared about cool. Today in yeshivas, everyone's being cool.
So you had to figure out a new way?
Yeah, you know what the new way was?
What was it?
Well, what do you do to be the top guy in a Litvish yeshiva?
You start learning like a crazy guy.
Masmid.
Masmi.
Yeah, I was a real verstinkener Masmid. Like when I say verstinkener, I say.
You mean to say the ones who...
I would go up to the. I'd be by someone Lel Shabbos. I'd go up to the Balabayas and whisper in his ear. I'd say, "Listen, it's kind of bittul Torah for me to be here.
But the Shabbos
You
table.
mind if I bench and just go back to the base midrash?" But I
Wow.
would say it loud enough that everyone should hear.
Right. Wow. It's sad.
I was a Masmid. I learned a lot of Torah.
As a survival strategy. So some people would be masmidim for the wrong reason.
Of course, yeah.
Some people are there for the right reason.
It's pretty scary because there's no, especially with Torah, but it's brought down in Kabbalah that any mitzvah you do, that's lo lishma, besides like chesed, stukah, and stuff. Any mitzvah you do lo lishma is stays in this world. Yeah, you could learn Shas 20 times if you did it for kavod.
Wait.
Nothing's
Can someone
waiting.
recover? Or
Yeah,
pull it
so
back?
it's brought down also in Kabbalah that if you review that Torah, all the Torah you learn, just review it once, the Shema, the whole entire storehouse,
you elevated
the
it.
whole warehouse goes out.
What about the mitzvah? Same thing. If you redo
All the
that
mitzvahs.
mitzvah.
Do it, Lishma.
Yeah.
So I became a masmid, and then a couple years later, like 3 years later, I realized that there's a whole Hasidic community that still thinks I'm a goy.
That is so right.
And next thing you know, it's like,
All to be accepted.
you want to hear another crazy story? When I was 16, when you're 16 in America, you get sent to Israel for like a month of the summer.
Yeah.
It's called a teen tour
Yeah.
to Israel. So we're totally secular boys and girls. None of us are dressed right, for frum communities. The tour guide's taking us to Mea Shearim.
Agit.
We get to Mea Shearim. 50 kids get out of the bus.
Oy vey.
We're heading to Mea Shearim. Immediately, these Yerushalmis come up and say,
Not
you
here.
you're not coming in here.
Right.
And they were very nice, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they were like,
You were lucky.
it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Go back to your bus. Go tour something else. Not here. Tour guide, okay, comes back to us, and he says, I know another way in.
Really?
Found another way in.
And?
As if they didn't know. Like, they didn't see us get in the bus.
Okay.
So we go another way. And, of course,
They're waiting for you.
they were waiting for us because the bus is still where they were. So he had us tour and figured, we'll just go out the way that we came.
Oh, so he sees you guys are not getting on the bus.
And he had us
Yeah,
go around
yeah,
and
yeah.
come out exactly where the bus was. So they were all still there.
Yeah.
But this time they were waiting with rocks.
Oh.
I'll never forget. We're running up Rehov Salant. 50 kids screaming, running as fast as we can. Rocks this big are shooting past. All my years in Yerushalayim, I've never seen a kid throw a rock, except for this one experience.
Really?
And rocks are like, one rock like clipped my ear.
That's
a big rock.
dangerous.
And bam, right in the back of a girl running in front of me. And she goes down. She was like a petite girl. Bam. She goes down. And anyway, we get on the bus, whatever. About, I don't know how many years later, but like 20 years later, I'm on my way back from Pinskarlin. I'm in my kaftan, my shtreimel, and my big fat white gartel. Coming back from shul on my way to my house, and I hear screaming.
Uh-oh.
And
Deja vu.
and people are screaming, and it's a whole thing. And I go over and I see there's these Yerushalmis yelling at an American group who are interested in this. And I went up and I told the Yerushalmis, I said, I got this. I speak English. I'll talk to them.
I'll take
So
care of business.
I'm talking to the group, and I'm saying it's just you can't come in here right now. It's also in Shabbos, and
Yeah.
just go. And they're like, oh, thank you. We had no idea what that guy was yelling.
Wow.
So thank you, and they left. But when the group left, now I'm back to walking home. All of a sudden, I stop, and I'm like, I became the people that rejected me. Meaning, could Could it be that my whole story was just surviving the 16-year-old rejection of the most religious people I'd ever met? Like, here are these people that we call holy are throwing rocks at us. I'm going to show them.
Showing them by becoming them?
Yeah, you're going to respect me.
Wow.
All of this, I don't even know if this is true what I'm saying. I don't
Right.
know.
Trump became president like that.
Yeah, really?
Obama humiliated him by the whatever party. I don't remember which party.
did he?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know this story.
Oh, yeah. It's famous. It's everywhere. He humiliated him. He made like 20 jokes just about him. And the place was rocking laughing. And he swore to himself, I want to be the next president. Yeah. This is famous stuff. Everybody knows this. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I lived that story.
Wow.
But I only ever thought of it that day. I never realized that day. But that's the point of the possible view. The possible view is us dealing with these little momentary hard times as kids, you know.
And turning it into a positive.
Getting schmeiced by the Rabbi, or tough Shabbos tables, you know, mean siblings, and embarrassing moments. And
Everybody knows what you're talking about.
and then it becomes, what gets lodged in you is this negative belief about yourself, which we call the inner negative belief. So now you have this negative belief, and then what do you do? How are you going to survive now that
Fight it back.
you cover it up with something? So I was covering it up with cool, then I was covering it with masmid, then I became a chassid. I was covering it up with kodesh.
And all people know about you is just they know the cover up. They don't know the real you.
Yeah, and they just nod along. Everyone's always nodding with what. If that's who you want to be, fine. Like, I'm not going to get involved.
Right.
You know, you want to be the rich guy, be the rich guy. You want to be the powerhouse guy, you be the powerhouse guy. We'll play your game if you really want.
Wow.
But really, it's garbage though, because you can sense when someone's really generating from a negative place.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, it's like spraying perfume on a dirty diaper.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It doesn't stick.
It still stings. you
Yeah.
know. So
You can see when a person is real, raw, authentic, and genuine, and you can feel when he's not really there.
one time at Shabbos Kevatani, we had I don't know how many people were in the room. I was teaching a class, probably 300, 400 people in the room, and there's mechitza, and women are there, men are there, and I said, who's coming when Mashiach's coming? Who's coming to Eretz Yisrael when Mashiach comes, and who's going to wait and see what happens next? And guess what?
Everybody's
I said,
waiting.
when Mashiach comes, all the women raise their hands.
Wow.
And no men. Like 3 men went like,
Yeah.
they were embarrassed. And I said, who's going to wait and see? All the men raised their hand. And I looked over the ladies' side and I said, you are stuck here.
Wow.
My wife created a program, like a campaign. It's called Pack Woman. Pack Woman.
What does it mean? Just pack your stuff, come?
The very first video game ever was called Pac-Man.
Okay.
And it's like, it was this little thing that 8 dots, It's called Pac-Man. So she called it Pack Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And every woman will pack a little carry-on bag full of clothes for each kid. And for her also.
Ready to go?
Yeah. And the Mashiach outfit for
No
Bias
way.
Mashiach. Yeah. A woman's supposed to have an outfit for Mashiach.
Really?
We go Shreim.
What does it say?
I don't know if it says it, but there's a tradition like that.
Sheesh.
Yeah, my wife has. And anyway, but you have all the things loaded. Why? Because it's the Nashim Tzidkanias saying to Hashem, I don't know about my husband and all his investments and all his things.
But
and
I'm ready.
We're packed.
Wow.
We're packed.
The Chofetz Chaim used to sleep with the thing ready to go, right?
Did he?
That's what I heard and remember. So how did it possibly you come along? You've mentioned this whole struggle.
Yeah, so it all came along because they were gonna cut my kishkas out meaning my digestive got so bad.
What age?
I was 33.
So that's
I'd
a
been
lot
married,
of bathroom
I'd
trips.
already been married like 7 years. Bathroom trips. Yeah.
What is it?
A lot of
What is the
bathroom trips.
pain? Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I couldn't digest things. I couldn't digest dairy now. I couldn't digest fried. Then I couldn't digest beef and meat and all that. I was a mess.
Wow.
I was going to die,
Is it called? It has a name.
They have names there's various names.
Colon is the first place that emotions get trapped in.
When it comes to rejection. Remember in the apostrophe, there's 5 fears. So the first fear is rejection.
Yeah.
The second fear is failure, like because we have to
Yeah.
like somehow support our families. And
Right. We
Next
can't be
one
seen
is out of control. That means being controlled by others or by events that are, bar mitzvah's coming, you're nervous about.
Right.
You're marrying off. So that's out of control. And then the unknown. And then physical pain and suffering. But rejection is usually around the stomach.
Wow.
Failure is around the low back. Low back.
Every time you mention one of them, it's like another punch. It's like crazy. We have all these fears. Why do we need a fear system in the first place?
Because it's a good question. The reason is because every single organism, whether it's a fish, a bird, a snake, a deer, a dog, a cat, or a human, has to have a part of their brain that focuses when it's in danger and doesn't get distracted by other things. So if you're sitting in traffic on the Palisades Parkway and you're going 2 miles per hour, so you see the birds, you see the trees, you see the deer, you see the Hudson, you see the cliffs, But if you're going 20, now you see most of it. When you're going 40, you're seeing some of it. Once you're going 65, you're seeing none of it. So what is all the green and everything around you? It's been proven scientifically that everything you think you're seeing while you're driving are predictive models that your brain creates.
Really?
But really, your brain's been shut down so you can stay on task on the bumper in front of you.
That's why you get tired when you drive fast for 8 hours or 4 hours even.
Yeah, who would you prefer drives you to Spa 42?
Oh, definitely.
An 18-year-old or a 36-year-old? To drive you up there.
6-year-old.
Yeah, he's got 18 years of past going up into the future. And so he's got 18 years going up the highway while he drives.
Right.
Now, meanwhile, you see 20 deer on the side of the road. He's like, did you see those deer? He's like, what deer?
Right.
Because you don't see anything.
So that part of the brain is able to control everything to
protect
bring
you,
it down.
To protect you.
So it's meant to protect us.
So that you're not watching everything else. You're focused on saving your life from something.
And sometimes...
I just gave an example of a car.
Right.
But it's
Sometimes
anything.
it
When
would
you're
go-
using a knife, you're not hearing the music the same as you were when you were peeling. When you're
Right.
peeling vegetables, you're hearing some of the music. Once you're slicing, you're hearing less of the music. You're dealing with a hot pot. You're not hearing any music.
Wow.
The brain's set up to cancel out distraction when in danger.
Now, what happens with emotions?
Well, listen. So that part of the brain, it's called the default mode network. It's inside of every organism, from a fish to a human. And so the problem is humans are so complicated because we don't just have a fear of having our hand burned or getting killed in a crash, God forbid. We have the danger of rejection.
Right.
We have the danger of failure. We
Out
have
of
the danger
control.
of out of control and the unknown.
Yeah.
And so what happens when a person walks into a wedding,
Wow. What a
the
mess.
stomach tightens. You're like,
Deer in the headlights.
yeah. I was at a wedding once, and the women had like flowers for the centerpiece. The men had beautiful candles behind glass, but they weren't lit.
Okay.
Expensive candles. I said to the party planner who was walking by, I said, you didn't like the candles. You know I like candles. So.
Yeah.
So I said, you didn't like the candles? He says, Yom Tov, no one sees the candles.
Right.
No one's here. Wow. There's a guitar player playing that wedding. He's at the top of his game. You know how many kids try to be that guitar player? This guy's the guitar player. He made it to the top. He's playing these guitar solos in each song. Not a person heard those solos. No one heard those solos. You don't hear the clarinet. You're not at the wedding.
Why are we still doing these weddings anyway?
Some poor fools spending $100,000 for 500 people to survive his kid's wedding.
That's a minimum today.
And guess who's trying to survive the wedding the most?
Him.
He is. He's sitting there just going
That
like,
is so
like I
sad.
can't wait to get back to my bed where it's safe. Like this, everything should just keep going smoothly so I can get home.
That is so sad.
You know how many people have come to the possibility right before they're marrying off because they heard this,
Wow.
and they're like, if I'm spending $80,000, I want to be at that wedding.
Yeah.
I want to show my default mode network that I want you when I'm driving. I don't want you when I'm marrying off. I want you when I'm cutting potatoes. I don't want you when I'm doing business.
I had a big niece. I just married off 2 months ago, the first one.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. I had a big nace. They started
Boy or a girl?
a boy. Baruch Hashem.
What was wrong with the boy that it was such a big nace?
The nace was for me to be there. I come in and I wasn't in a good mood, and I kept telling myself the week prior to, I gotta be at this wedding. I paid too much to not be there. I gotta be there. Now, the few days before, Baruch Hashem gave me seichel because I was running a wedding hall at some point. So I saw the mechutanim. I saw it's a distress. I kept encouraging them. Now I need to tell me all these things. I took a driver, took my car, everything that needed to be picked up, the chosen, my wife, anything, call him.
Oh, great.
Call me only for emergencies.
Wow.
And I had time. So I was learning a bissel, got in the spa. I went for a good massage the day before.
You're really Rav Nachum Chaimowitz's son.
Baruch Hashem. No, it was a big nace because I could have, for the same, I could have just run into this loop of everyone else. And I come to the Kabbalah Spanim, and I'm all there. I came 2 hours early to the hall. I was sitting there. I was doing the pictures. Everything was good. But as soon as they started this Vahi B'Shir Melech, and in Eretz Yisrael they started,
Yeah.
They started Vahi B'Shir Melech. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
I get
less
it.
emotional. That's it.
The begleiten.
And they grabbed my hand. And I'm like, am I taking the chosn or is the chosn taking me? What is going on? I'm like, okay, this is happening now. I better shape up. I started saying Eno Mevadoi like 1,000 times. I said, Hashem, we're 3 partners here, right? We're marrying off. Please, it's not fair if you would leave the 2 partners behind and you would do your thing. Take me with you. Allow me to be here. And I shut my eyes the whole way until after the chuppah. And I felt like I'm descending, and I came into a beautiful space. I was there for the whole chuppah. I was on a cloud.
Wow.
And it lasted until like 1 before the last Shav brachas. I was just there. I was loving. I gave brachas like a makubal to everyone. I was having a blast.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I can't even recognize that guy.
You know
was
what?
in such
I did
high.
a few weddings ago. I did the math of how much money each minute is.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was like, how much is 5 out? How much is 80,000 divided by 5?
8,000 divided by 5 is 16,000.
And minutes, so I have to do.
so
60.
16,000 divided by 60.
How much is 16,000 divided by 60?
It's approximately 266.6666.
So I'm spending $266 a minute. It's cool cheshbon, right? So while I'm enjoying the wedding, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lose a minute of this wedding. And then there's always that guy who comes to dray your cup and tell you the whole story about his uncle or whatever. And I'd be like, I'd love to hear this story about your uncle, but come to me.
$260?
Yeah, I don't mention that. I just say, come to me tomorrow. You tell me
Yes.
all about it. Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Okay, so the possible you, when did it start? What day? What hour? You mentioned that you started having crazy pain by 33.
Oh, so I totally forgot about my brother's bar mitzvah. I didn't put that together. I forgot about that. Totally repressed it. Like the difficult memories we often put away.
The brain
That
puts it
was-
away for us.
Yeah, that was gone. But now I was in trouble. I was gonna
feeling
get a surgery for my belly. I had to do some cheshbon.
But you already knew that it's emotional? It has to be emotional? You didn't know yet. So how does it happen?
I finally, one night, I just said, I got it. I know what happened. I remembered the bar mitzvah.
How? Candles?
No,
Sage?
someone challenged me.
Who?
It was interesting. My wife and a friend of mine and I were in a chabura with a personal growth leader, just us, and we hired him. And we're crazy about personal growth, so we hired this guy.
You can mention his name?
The guy who we hired,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave him nameless.
Okay.
And anyway, so it's funny that the guy who I hired him with, it turned out to be a machutna of mine.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway,
You guys sit
the
there.
guy gave us an exercise, an amazing exercise. I'm not going to tell the whole exercise, but you have to write out your most embarrassing moment. So I wrote out my most embarrassing moment, and when I showed it to the leader, he was like, the guy guiding us, he says, Reb Yom Tov, I know you too well. this isn't your most embarrassing moment. There's something much bigger. And I started mitching on it for days. And I finally, like 2 a.m, I just got up in my bed and I'm like, I remember.
Wow.
And of course I was in the bathroom hiding. And it was public. It was in a social event. And it was, whoa. I remembered. Hashem.
So what happens? You remember it, and
Once I remembered it, then it was like I could unlink it. It was totally linked. My stomach was totally linked to that rejection,
so
which
it
is
helped
totally
you.
linked to the word unacceptable, which is a negative belief. And I unlinked it and then realized all these years I've been playing cool. I've been playing masmid. I've been playing qadrs. Now I'm a Kira rabbi, with the guitar and stuff. And meanwhile, ignoring my wife, ignoring my kids, when I played a concert, was I giving or taking?
Taking.
I was taking. When I was teaching shirim, was I giving or taking?
Taking.
Right? When the Maggid shir is taking, how much of the shir you get? And if you think back your favorite Rebbes when you were a kid, you realize that your favorite Rebbes were giving. They were the ones who worked it out to be givers. Yeah.
Now you're all about giving.
Yeah.
So how did the possible you start? You figured that out. You
Figured that
unlinked
out.
it.
Unlinked it, and then I was teaching a Pirkei Avos shir in Eshator at the time, and I just told everyone, close your books. You're in a seminar. And,
You already called
and
it
I just-
seminar.
Yeah, this is now a seminar. And I started working with them. And I'm an integrator, so I just took the feedback and integrated that, and took the feedback, integrated that, and took the feedback, integrated. I integrate everything.
I remember you telling a part of the story that you realized when you know him, you love him. Right?
Yeah, to know him is to love him, they say. To know him is when you know somebody, you love them.
Right.
Which is why the survival strategy of quiet. Remember, survival strategy, fight or flight. So
Right.
I was fight.
Yeah.
Flight would be to shut down, be private.
Go in the corner.
Private, be shy. This is
Yeah.
all under rejection, obviously. Then there's the failure fight and flight, and the
Yeah.
out of control fight and flight, like being independent with your.
So that was all
Lincoln
built up
Navigator.
afterwards.
So the you had just asked about what you
You
say?
started it in Aish. I
Yeah,
asked
and
about
Rob-
do you know him, you love him.
Yeah, so people who play private, that one, don't have any. No one loves them. Wow. Why? Because no one knows them.
Wow.
And they pride themselves. I'm a very private person.
Poor
You're a
kid.
private person. You're a very lonely person. That's what you are.
Wow.
Because nobody knows you. So then anyone who says they love you don't really love you. They don't know you. How can they love you? I mean, what? It's the same thing when you're always looking good for Yenim. Everything's looking good, looking good, looking good. You're always looking good. So now everyone loves you. It's not you they love. It's what you
Project.
mirrored for them.
Right.
What you copy pasted. So between not trusting anybody with who you are and also always looking good for Yenim, those are the root of loneliness.
Wow.
If you're always going to copy paste everyone, you're going to be so lonely. And if you're always being so private, never sharing yourself with people, you're going to live your life alone.
Alone is the most scary thing on earth, and
Mm-hmm.
being loved is the most warming,
It's the deepest need.
the deepest need.
Yeah. It's funny, it's very European. Our communities are holding European values now.
Right.
It's not American communities. It's
Right.
European communities. And it's very European to stay private like that, to isolate and stay private.
It's not healthy.
Yeah. The war didn't help either because all the survivors couldn't talk.
Right. It made
They
it
were,
worse.
They were just like mute. They couldn't talk because how are you going to talk? Maybe it'll come out. Like you can never tell what happened.
Wow.
So then they never shared. And their kids learned to just keep quiet.
Yeah. Everybody's over private. There's this thing that you mentioned that you pass someone in the street and there's like this electricity. Zzz. I always tell it to my kids. It's very powerful. Please say it.
I don't actually say that publicly because that's kind of one of the special moments in the
Okay.
past with you.
Okay, so let's leave it at
That's
that.
one of the huge breakthroughs. Because interestingly, even though the seminar is built for breakthroughs in life, one of the biggest breakthroughs, obviously, is social anxiety.
Right.
People ask me all the time, like I'm sure I'll hear it over the weekend, this Shabbos in Borough Park, is people ask me, how many people are coming?
Yeah.
In other words, I'm afraid of people.
Yes.
So it's a.
What do you tell them? Come for the first hour and see if you like it?
I say the first hour is going to be pretty awkward because,
Nobody knows each
if
other.
you go to a therapist, the previous person goes out that door and then you come in this door and no
Right.
one sees each other. But if you're in a group setting, everyone has to sit there.
Yeah.
There's nothing less manly than showing up to a man for help, number one. But showing up to a man, they call,
Yeah.
like in front of other people. So it's pretty awkward. But you know what I tell people? I say, you can either have the first 45 minutes of the seminar, because it's only 45 minutes till everyone relaxes.
Right.
You can either have the first 45 minutes of awkwardness or you're going to be awkward the rest of your life.
Wow.
Pick your poison.
Wow. Pick your heart. Yeah. That's. I bought a friend. One of the friends I bought several people. Mechi bought me and I bought several people. I'm going to tell you my experience the first time I met you. I think it was before you made the seminar in New York, officially. It was, Mechi got together about 10 people on First Avenue, if you remember, in a pillow factory, in a conference room. And we were there just sitting, and everybody paid just $100. It was like a session, a private session of a few hours. And you gave us a paper and homework, and you said, you asked us something. We had to remember like an impactful moment. And never to that minute, I remembered my moment.
Ooh.
I had a chayrem. איך אומרים chayrem?
Yeah, you were put in excommunication.
Yeah. For 2 years.
Excommunication by the kids in your cheder.
Yeah, the class, and then the other class joined. It was a disaster.
I'll never forget that.
But when I told my story, right, you were there, I was weeping for a half hour. You're like, okay, man, bro, we got to finish at some point. I couldn't get out a word. I was out. Even the second time I said my story was...
The CIA doesn't interrogate the people they capture until the third day.
Really?
Yeah, because the first 2 days you're still with your guard up. But there's something about the human psyche on the third day. That's why it has to be every day. You can't do the seminar once a week because everyone would come up re-fortified against the experience.
Right.
But the third day, everyone's ready to break through. Like that's the big day.
Okay, before we go to our final message, is there something that you would like to mention or add?
The reason I created the Possible You is because people used to come up to me a lot and say how amazing I am, but the way they said it was like la fouke them. Like, you're so amazing. But it was like la fouke them or la fouke other people. And meanwhile, I'm looking at the most amazing person I've ever seen. Each one of us are created in the image of God, and we believe that. Like, if you keep Shabbos, why wouldn't you keep that? But because of our upbringing, so the negative self-talk starts, and then you got to cover it up with all your fight and flight personality moves, and now you're getting exhausted by that. People feel it, sense it, at least subconsciously. And the body's keeping the score the whole time, so, you look at most people when they're 50, 60, they're already, their body's turning into more of a cage than a body. None of that's necessary, meaning we're believers in Hashem and Torah. Like, we believe that you're created in the image of God. You're Tzelem Elokim, you're Chelek Elokam Imal. That's who you are, not all the shtusim. Those are lies. But how do you let go of it? How do you get rid of it? And so I created this program so that people can have whatever they have to do in those 4 days to unravel the whole story and just let it go. And the proof's in the pudding. We're now a quarter of a century running this. And we're just hitting 15,000 graduates. We're in 6 cities. We have 80 people working for us. And it is unbelievable what happens to a person between Sunday and Wednesday night. I mean, all you have to do is just get yourself in there, but you'll never be able to convince yourself to go. If you try to even think about it, you'll think not to go. You got to somehow get over it to get in there. You'll say it's the money, you'll say it's the time, you'll say it's the ego, because like, no one should see me there, whatever. And so you'll miss it. And then you're just going to die one day and be buried with all of this gunk that's for nothing. For nothing. Like, what did it do? Like, that's what your life's going to be. And if you have the opportunity, and you do, to come to the Possible You and break it through. If 5% of what I'm saying is true, and you better believe it's a lot more than 5%, because most of the people are coming, it's from word of mouth. Like they see someone is totally different vibrationally. They see someone who's like you're different. What's different about you? And he says, I went to the Possible You, and the guy said, well, I'm going. I'm going to go to the Possible You. That's who the 15,000 people are. You don't have to believe me. You just believe the people that did it. It's crazy that it works. I can't believe I'm the one who figured it out, like how to unlock this combination lock on everybody's nefesh. But I can tell you this: if you think you're going to figure out some like convincing way that you're going to come, you won't. You actually have to stop trying to convince yourself. Stop thinking about it and just go online, register, and come. And you want to know something? If you go online and register and you don't come, I'll give you your money back. I don't care. But press the button. Press the buy button. Just hit it. And if you wind up not coming, we'll give you your money back, no problem. But if you think you're only going to come when you finally get convinced, it'll never happen. Never happen, because I've been running this thing for so many years. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. It's a process. It's 25 hours over 4 days, non-work hours, all day Sunday from 1 p.m. into the night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. It's a lot of hours together. How am I supposed to explain what's going on in there? And how are you supposed to understand the mechanics that I understand that are taking place there? There's no way for me to really explain that to you. So all I can offer is you can be free. You can live your life mamish on fire, generating from the neshama instead of generating from negative beliefs. You can do it. So just jump in. Just press register and do it. You're worth it.
Well, that's beautiful. I can testify myself that the Possible You does.
Yeah, you could
fix.
give your own testimony.
Yeah, mamash. It
For
fixes.
people what you've seen. Think how many people
Me
you've seen.
myself. It transforms your life. It opens you to a healthier vibration. It discovers to you yourself what you've been doing and going through, where your frustrations happen and why.
Would you be doing this right now if you hadn't done it?
Never. I was so far down. You have no idea. You only helped me the first time, right? The first time. It's like an onion. It's layers. I had to go more than once to get me up.
Right.
But
what did you see with the businessmen you saw there, with Rabbi that you've seen there? I mean, you've sat in there with very chashuv.
My wife changes. Oh, what kind of people are
What
there?
kind of transformation have you seen from?
Every single kind of person. I was trying to invite Charlie Arabi here. I'm still trying to get
I
him.
can help if you want. He's a graduate too.
Yeah, I would love him to come.
By the way, it's highly confidential in the seminar, meaning it's.
I'm not mentioning any names that I wouldn't know
Yeah.
that it would agree
Charlie
to be out
says
there.
that.
Yeah.
It's highly confidential. Not only whatever's said in there is confidential, but whoever comes is confidential.
Right.
You're never allowed to share that you saw someone there unless they tell you can.
Right.
And another thing that's important is no one's sharing their life story in there. Meaning the lights are off. You hear someone crying, but you don't know what he's crying about.
Right.
You know, at this point, like there's almost zero sharing. Like, I just
Really?
finished a whole group in Lakewood.
I wanted to share. I needed it out of my system. I was there. I wanted to share.
I used to let more sharing. But think how late we were going. each
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
It's
yeah,
supposed to end at 11:30.
It was never. It was
Now it
never.
is.
Now it is. Wow.
There's not.
You became more efficient. Is it Avrami or it's you?
It's that part is me.
Wow.
I'm on the content, but I realized that everyone's breaking through. But it's my graduates that created Shabbos Kervatoni.
Yeah.
Meaning Shabbos Kervatoni is my grandchild,
Yeah.
basically.
100%.
One time Mechi got up. I couldn't believe he did this. He got up at the Motzi Shabbos
Yeah,
event
yeah,
where
yeah.
everyone gets to give a 3-minute talk. You know what his
Yeah.
3-minute talk was? He said, I created Shabbos Kervatoni. Oh, we did the Possible You, me and my friends. We did the Possible You, the leaders of Kervatoni. And we got together and we said, everyone's got to do this. Everyone's got to do this. Like we got to transform our people. Like we're children and grandchildren of Holocaust culture.
Right.
Like we got to transform our community. But how are we going to get everyone into Yom Tov's seminar? We can't. Let's create a Shabbaton
Wow.
that is like all personal growth, all the best personal growth speakers. They created that. They called me in Yerushalayim. They said, when can you come? And we just finished the 25th.
Right.
25th.
So
Mechi gets up there and he says that we created Shabbos. I couldn't believe he did it. We created Shabbos Keretani so that people would open up to personal growth and get into the possible you. That's what he said.
Wow. I think
And
the
every
best way-
date of every Shabbos Keretani was first, when can I be there?
Wow.
Yeah. Now it's totally independent.
Yeah.
They don't need me anymore.
It grew. It grew.
Yeah.
I remember when Reb Shimon Spitzer used to come talk. Now he would never come. Now he's a Rebbe.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's how it starts, you know. Baruch Hashem. The good things. I think we should finish off with a song, with the possible you song. You still have time? What's the time?
It's 5:30.
5:30. Yeah, we can
good.
do it. If you don't want to do the whole thing, let's at least do.
No, I'll do the. It's
find-
short. It's
Find
actually,
your way back home again. That piece I need. Do it for me. I don't know who is gonna enjoy it. For sure, the people who did the possible you are like gonna join us for the beat.
The actual possible you song is a lot of Yidden. Maybe you put I don't know, direct your.
2 mics. Should I hook
nah,
it
just-
off and put it there? Oh, you could do this. Yeah.
Just put it in the
that should
middle.
work. Yeah.
So a lot of like Hasidic Yidden, they when they hear the beautiful child song,
Yeah.
right? The beautiful child in you. So they think it's like a goyish,
Right.
because it's like major key and it,
But how do you know this? Even if it's just in English, it's already a goyish song.
right. But whatever, it comes off to them like a goyish song. But what they don't know is every song until 200 years ago, 250 years ago, since Skala, was major key songs. Every song was like, "Ma'ozo Yeshua." You know what I'm saying? Like every song was major key.
You'd never consider changing it?
To a minor key? You can't change a song from minor to major. Anyway, but a lot of our songs that are Hamish are major if it's like a march, you know, that's major. But anyway, but they, people should know that we've just spent 250 years correcting.
Yes.
To us, spirituality has to be like,
Why is it that way?
we think suffering, and people put on this suffering face.
Right.
And nothing wrong with it. For us today, that's ruchani. It's ruchnis. But it never used to be that way.
So it's not necessarily that Ruchni should come like this. It's just an association that grew.
All the songs of Ashkenaz were major key, and especially on Shabbos. Like the Koach Sof would have never made it. Like it had to be, Yom Shabbos Kodeshu Ashrei Haish Kameh V'yala Yayin Zocheu. It was all like
So what happened?
sounded like Mao Tzur.
Now Kumsitz is only like deep.
Correct.
So why is it?
We've been through hell, man.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'm asking people to have an open mind when they hear that beautiful child song. What, you wanted to find your way back home a little?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I love that piece.
The beautiful child in you is the home. You could sing it with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Find your way back home again, my bright and
Precious soul.
Find your way back home again, my bright and
Precious soul. People don't realize it's pitch black in the room.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a whole experience, so you're already holding your beautiful child crying.
And you're doing that.
I'm doing his heartbeat.
Oh.
Find your way, find your way, find your way back home.
Because every toddler is home. Like every one of us was once like the most alive, doesn't need to eat or drink or sleep, just running around crazy, full of love, full of self-expression. Like it was your greatest asset, but we all dumped them when we were 3 years old and started copy pasting, putting the meat grinder system.
But you were saying we can get it back.
I know we can get it back. You see how friendly my little boy is. He's with me all the time. Yours is too. So let's go. We'll do the beautiful child.
Okay, come inch this way.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah. Better.
Take a smaller step. Take a deeper breath. Let your motor cool. Slow down to a crawl as your defenses fall. Feel your soul refuel. Everything you thought, all that you believed, hold it in your hand and let it go. Nothing left to fear, open to receive, setting free the child, the beautiful child in you. Do a little dance, sing a simple song, laugh so hard you're crying. Chase a butterfly, climb a mountainside. Once again you're flying. The person of your dreams is coming into view. Nobody can take that dream away. Somebody who trusts, somebody who shares, someone like the child, the beautiful child in you. Whoa, whoa, everything you thought, all that you believed, hold it in your hands and let it go. Everyone you love wants you to achieve. They want to meet the child, the beautiful child in you. The beautiful child is you.
That's how we descend into heartbeat and feeling alive after the Passover. It's a choiv, kudosh for every single Hasidic Ingeman, especially. I speak for Hasidic Ingeman because I come from it.
Guess where I just came from?
No.
Rav Malkiel
Kotler?
Kotler.
Really?
And all of the top leaders of Lakewood.
BMG?
Yep. Rav Sherwinter, Rav Uri Deutsch, Rav Hanach Shachar.
You gave them a class?
I brought the books and everything, all the Marmakaimas, and we went through the whole thing. I taught the whole seminar to each one. They're mamish geniuses. What it takes a group of 4 days, these guys hopped in like, I mean, they didn't get to go through all the work.
Right, but I'm sure they're like blown away positively.
Blown
Wow.
away, yeah. So
It's a pleasure having you just being in your presence. keeps us. Your tone of your voice is probably the best key of the possible you.
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem.
Much.
Thank
Every
you so
body's
much.
a musical instrument, and your voice can just start resonating properly.
Bezrat Hashem. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, comment, like, support, and we will see you by the next one. Bezrat Hashem.